First of all, tell me a little bit about your organization and what you do.
So I work for Ontario Centres of Excellence, and we run a broad range of programs, all focused on early stage programming for startups. So we do a number of grants, and I actually run the Equity Investments program that focuses on 125 to 250K for early stage technology startups.
Tell me a little bit about Fierce Founders.
So I can talk all day about Fierce Founders. I created that program 4 years ago, so I know it inside and out. And a lot of the programming related to the needs that Communitech particularly had. So every program that's focused on female founders can address different issues. But Fierce Founders was focused on early stage. So we had a boot camp, which was a 6-day program over the course of 6 weeks with a 100K prize at the end. And we got 100 applications every time, and 25 women would participate. And the winners were getting more and more successful every year. We would see them go on to raise millions, go on to build out their prototypes with the funding that they received, and also go on to acquisition. So they actually were quite successful.
Why do you think we need an organization or program like Fierce Founders?
I think there's a lot of need in the community right now, especially given the low numbers of female founders that we're seeing across the ecosystem. So 4 years ago, Communitech had only 8% of startups with one female founder. And now it's closer to 30%, but there's still a long way to go before equality. So I would say we're looking at a lot of different factors contributing to these numbers, but overarchingly, these programs help move those numbers up and change the ratio.
So why do you think it matters in terms of getting more women coming to the table who are founders of these startups? Why does it matter to the general population?
I think it could change the entire way that we work in our societies, and the way that organizations develop over time all starts from the beginning with female founders or with the founders of the organizations, and the ways that they think about what organizations need to evolve. So to have female founders on the table, to have women at the table at every level of the organization is key to providing that perspective, to having a broad range of ideas and innovative thoughts that need to contribute to having that competitive edge for an entire economy.
What is the missing link? What do you see in some of these female founders early on which perhaps makes them hesitant to go out and try to raise more money or start a business? What is that quality that you see?
I think that being an entrepreneur takes a specific type of person. I don't think everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. But what I look for are qualities that I believe would lead to someone continuing in the process, to not giving up, to having that endurance of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, being a smart person, being an emotionally intelligent person that can work with the community and bring everyone on board for their idea, and someone who's truly industrious. They're working really hard. And so when I see those traits, I try to do everything I can to support that entrepreneur throughout their life cycle. So early stage, getting them through the ideation phase, getting them the funding, the type of person who will persevere, just add that extra support and you'll see them flourish.
When we're talking about moving the dial, who moved the dial for you?
So many people. I mean, I had a great mentor at Communitech, Steve McCartney, who's now a CEO of his own company. So he would just move everything to make the vision come true, which became 2 boot camps a year at $100,000 each, a full accelerator. So he was someone who moved the dial. I've had someone like that in every organization that I've worked at, and the surprising numbers add up to a lot of men.
How do you take the model in terms of Fierce Founders and help people in communities that maybe aren't in Waterloo or Toronto or in some of these tech centers?
It's a great question, because that's a lot of what I've been doing recently since moving to Toronto. So I engage with a lot of founders. I'm constantly getting intros, and I try to work with them one-on-one, as well as connect them to the people who I know will support their entire process. And I'll also connect them back to Fierce Founders. So I think a lot of that natural networking is why we need more women in the community in every way, not just as founders, but as supporters.
What is that day going to be like when you wake up and you say, okay, some of the work is done? What will that be?
I'd love to see not only female founders succeed, but all diversity and all number of types of entrepreneurs. So for me, the main impact will be when I see it happening on a global level, because Canada's problems are, more significant than we would like, but the rest of the world out there has even more severe issues when it comes to what women are facing, the economic impact of not having a job, not having opportunities, let alone being able to fulfill their dreams of entrepreneurship.